right. I am thrilled to have Aladdin Flynn, my very first guest on the channel. He is the founder of BTC Trading Cards. I will let him provide an introduction to himself, but could not be more excited to be kind of jump starting this new segment on the channel where we can talk about some of our partners at Joltz Rewards. And I could not be more excited to have Aladdin on as the very first guest. So, Aladdin, thank you for joining.
Absolutely. First guess. This is legendary.
Legendary, man. These
Let's do
moments
it.
have these moments only happen once. So, but maybe for folks watching and listening, tell us a little bit about yourself. How'd you get into Bitcoin?
So, serial entrepreneur. Just been startup after startup since 17 years old. Freedom oriented my entire life. Small town. Came from the cannabis industry where Prop 215 was a big part of my childhood and had some parents that were a part of the movement. So understanding the value of our freedom was, a part of me from the start. Found Bitcoin in 2016 and all lights went off. It was everything. So I've always wanted to do something that can help benefit the human race if there's a way to do that. I found Bitcoin and said, man, if there's anything that I can do to be a part of this movement, it's the best chance of being able to fulfill that dream I've had since grade school. So it was all Bitcoin after that, and it was on.
Love that. Love that. I mean, I think that captures, the essence of how many of us feel, very, very well. And you mentioned, 2016 kind of stumbling into Bitcoin. BTG Trading Cards has been a work in progress for some time. So maybe talk us through how you initially got the idea and how it sort of developed up until launching, just last year.
Yeah, long story of 4 solid years of working on this project.
Yeah.
Originally, I did trading cards in the cannabis industry, and that was I had a whole different business I was doing, classic car dealership and a clothing store, and it was this American-made, awesome, fun, amazing thing that I did for quite a while. But then I had a lobbyist friend of mine show up and say, "Hey, we're going legal, and all these things are coming to cannabis." So I jumped in specifically because I had a lot of family and friends that are not business people, but they've been a part of the whole culture and the industry for forever. I knew that if they didn't figure out a way to get legal, they were going to lose to the big boys. So I created Ganja brand trading cards, and this was a way to get these small mom and pop farmers branded in a legal way where they could get their brand, their product, everything on a pack of trading cards to dispensaries and head shops, and just get them branded and hopefully give them a chance to compete against the big boys. And did that for about 2 years. Did not enjoy being any part of the cannabis industry. It was just really sad to me.
Yeah.
A lot of depressing moments because the big corporations were just stomping all over the pioneers. And I was already trying to find a way out. And that's when I found Bitcoin. Immediately closed everything down, moved my family out of town, and sat around for about a year and a half studying everything I could about Bitcoin. 2018, I've always loved the cards. I thought it was really fun when I was doing that. And I said, okay, I think I can make Bitcoin into a trading card. And I think there's something really fun that we can do with this. So every time I thought I got to a point where I was ready, all these new ideas came in. I'm a perfectionist, so I had to restart, revamp. And that was a good 3 years of that. And then the last year was all about just taking years of consulting that I did with the general public. I had the Bitcoin Life Raft, and I reached out and did a bunch of small meetups and teaching people about Bitcoin. And that was a job for the last 3 years I've been doing. And all of that really was to get as much feedback from the general public as possible to go into these cards. What did they like? What was too difficult? What was their main FUD? And then culminated all of that into these cards. The artwork has been an insane amount of work. And we finally dropped it all off November, I think 11th, with the amazing Swan Company. Swan Bitcoin gave us the opportunity. We'll never forget that. And that's our launch. We've been out for about 2 months.
Beautiful. Well, sounds like a particularly low time preference approach, which those tend to have the most resiliency and long-standing nature. And for folks listening, thinking, "Wow, that sounds like a lot of prep," you better believe it. I mean, these cards are incredible. I'm gonna try and edit in some of the art. There's so much thought, and part of that is because there's just so many concepts, so many facets of Bitcoin, right? People talk about it as a prism. They talk about it as these different sort of metaphors with all these sorts of facets, whether it's economics, whether it's computer science, whether it's freedom and some of the principles that kind of underpin it. So maybe break that down a little bit. And again, I'll flash up some of the website here in the editing, but maybe just talk about like the organization, some of the different categories in what is effectively Series One, i.e., this kind of first batch of the packs.
Yeah, absolutely. So the majority of the feedback I got from the general public, which is my main target audience, let's orange pill the world, is Bitcoin itself is too confusing. That's like over and over from, I'd say 95% of the people that I talk to about it. It's just too confusing. So even when you start trying to break down all the little elements of Bitcoin and teach them about the halving and there's so many things that go into Bitcoin, it was just too much for them. So I started finding what elements really worked. And for the majority of people, it was freedom. So I had to create a freedom category to capture the interest from people that would jump onto starting to learn about Bitcoin because of that. There's a lot of people, once you show them the Zimbabwe dollar, the German mark, I mean, things like that is what really sparked them. The Bretton Woods Agreement has been a really big one. I'd say 90% of people I talk to have no idea about that. So having monetary history, freedom, tyranny, economics, all these different categories, it gives an option for everybody to have one thing that sparks them into Bitcoin. And why the Bitcoin standard by Saifedean was so amazing to me is it was 80% why Bitcoin and 20% Bitcoin. And that was the best way for me to digest it because it wasn't code. It wasn't so much technical talk as it was just going through monetary history and understanding why Bitcoin is so important. So these cards are done in a very similar way, where it's literally about 80% why Bitcoin and 20% about all the different elements in Bitcoin.
No, that's terrific. And you mentioned, the sort of main launch really was only Pacific Bitcoin in November, as you mentioned. I was mentioning to you off camera just before that the pack I grabbed from that conference is gone because family friend son over the holidays was just so enamored by these cards. I was like, take it, have it, gift it. So I've got to re-up my own supply. I've seen people posting on Twitter with they're collecting all the kind of rare pieces. So it's really, really, really cool to see. Tell us a little bit about how things have gone since Pacific Bitcoin. I've seen you on all sorts of stuff, all sorts of partnerships. So tell us a little bit about the traction you guys have had to date.
Unbelievable. I mean, I'm just the pleb, and I built this for the plebs. I built it for the general public. I had no idea that it would take off quite like this. It's been magical. I had a discussion with Bob Burnett. He runs the Barefoot Mining, and the guy is just amazing. And he gave me some amazing advice many months ago when we were talking about this project. And he goes, "It seems like you found a way to make Bitcoin fun. So focus on that and let that be your number one drive with this project." And the last few months of finishing everything up towards everything I've done since is just fully focused on let's make this as fun as possible. We're in a bear cycle right now. It's not a lot of fun. For true Bitcoiners, it is fun in the way that we get to stack sats on the cheap. You can't beat that. I enjoy the bear markets more than the bull markets for that reason, because I don't really have any plans of selling my Bitcoin anytime soon. But at the same time, with FTX, with all the FUD and all the crap going on, it's hard to stay positive sometimes. And that's not even talking about we're in the middle of Davos right now is happening. And when you're a Bitcoiner, you understand all these things happening all the time. And it's depressing. So having these cards come out and just be really fun has
Yep.
been, I think, our biggest success. And from the influencers to the plebs to the general public, that, I mean, I've got a secretary that sits out front for the entire complex here, and I handed her a pack of cards. She doesn't know anything about Bitcoin. She just knows the name Bitcoin, and most people equate it to FTX because that's what's all over the news. I handed
Right.
her the pack, and she's got to be in her late 60s. She was ecstatic. She called me out 20 minutes later, and she's like, "You got to tell me more. What do I do with these cards? Is there a group I can go to? Like, this is so cool." That right there, I mean, getting the plebs involved and the Bitcoin community is amazing. But when I have experiences like that with just random people in the general public that know nothing about Bitcoin, that have never collected a trading card in their life, and they're super excited about these cards, it's amazing. I can't wait to keep pushing this into the next stage and the next stage, and see where this goes.
Yeah, I keep saying to you that you've caught lightning in a bottle. I mean, it really is like the number of people and even, high profile Bitcoin influencers that are hopping on as advisors to the project and all this good stuff. So it's awesome to see. So I take it things are moving fast. I mean, how many sort of packs roughly, if you know, are left in Series One? Because again, Series One only happens once.
Yeah, it's been really quick. So we started out with just under 8,000 packs.
Okay.
And I think we're around maybe 3,000, 3,500 left. And
Okay.
we've only been out 2 months. So Series One has flown. And I think a lot of that is you can never go back. So
Yep.
being able to have a collection of the first. I mean, look what happened to the first edition of Bitcoin Magazine,
Yep.
Citadel 21. Like you can't get those first editions anymore. Once they're gone, they're gone. So I think there's a lot of, we call the community pack stackers. There's a lot of pack stackers that are working really hard to stack these. So we call it ripping packs and stacking sats. And
Nice.
definitely got some fired up whales. It's small whales too. Like I think that's the coolest part about these cards is we've got some pack stacker whales right now that are just some young people that they're like, well, I collect my Bitcoin and I've got as much as I can, and I'll never be a whale, but I might be able to be a whale from the first series of this, and I want to be a whale in something, and that's been working out really well. So
Love it, love it. And can you tease anything about Series Two? So Series One going very fast, but I know you've got some big plans coming up and a lot of preparation going into what will basically be the next series. Can you talk a little bit about that in terms of maybe things to expect or how it's going to be launched, anything like that?
absolutely. Super excited for Series 2. A tremendous amount of work ahead of us because we're trying to launch Series 2 at Miami Bitcoin. And that's not far down the road. And the
Yeah,
amount of work that goes into this, many late nights to keep this going. But I've been able to put together a new team with this. So we've got some ridiculous top-notch Bitcoin artists that are now helping to create some of the artwork for some of these cards.
awesome.
That is a huge help because before I had to conceptualize everything myself, sketch everything out, and then I've got a team of artists, but I've been orange pilling them, but they didn't start out as Bitcoiners. So all of the concepts and all of the designs and everything had to come from me, and then I just have them take it, throw their artistic style onto it so that we have multiple styles of art for everybody. But being able to have true Bitcoiners help out with some of these cards, it's a very different feeling. It's relaxing because I know from their artwork they get it, and I don't have to hover over the top of it and wonder if they're going to be able to get it right. I'm pretty confident these guys know exactly what they're doing, so that'll help a lot. And that's going to be a major bonus to the next series for people. If you're a fan of World of Rusty, Bitko Yanowski, Asanoa, we've got some epic artists that are going to be helping us out. So you'll be able to collect them in the pack.
Love that.
The level of ridiculous Bitcoin warriors coming into the next series is going to be insane. We're going to blow some minds with series 2. That's for damn sure. And series 2 theme is FUD-busters.
Okay.
So every new series we come out with is going to have its own specific theme, and each theme will be heavy in that theme. So series 2 FUD-busters is going to be highly focused on busting the FUD. So if you were ever worried about your mom asking you, well, it has no intrinsic value, and it's really hard to explain that to her, hand her that no intrinsic value FUD-buster card. And it's bad for the environment. Like, we're going to have cards for the majority of these top FUDs. And I think it's just a really good way to not overcomplicate things, to be able to explain things without having to voice them. Us Bitcoiners are incredibly passionate. We go overboard sometimes because we're like, how can you not get it? This is so simple. And the general public doesn't get it that way. They're just like, you're an evangelist, or you're like the Mormon showing up at my front door and handing me pamphlets every day.
Yeah, you're the
So
cult.
yeah, so the trading cards are great for that.
Yep.
The artwork alone is just a way to ease them into it. And again, all ages, from the kids like you're talking about, are into it and love it, to the secretary at the front desk. I mean, it's been amazing. And I think these cards for that are going to be great. And it's going to answer a lot of their questions. And every series we come out with is just going to answer more and more of those questions.
Love that. Well, Fudbusters, that's certainly timely. Many have claimed that we are officially in the then they fight you phase. So we need all the Fud busting that we can get. And I love that you're integrating additional Bitcoin artists, because I think that was one of the things that in Series 1 people seem to really latch onto. Like, there's clearly these distinct artistic styles across some of the different cards. So you're collecting not just across these different categories, whether it's freedom, economics, monetary history. You're also kind of collecting these different artistic styles, different levels of rarity. So there's lots of different dimensions here, which I think is part of why people have, really gravitated towards what did you say, Pat? Ripping stacks and stacking sats. Is that what it is?
Ripping packs and stacking sats.
Ripping packs and stacking sats. I love it. Well, Series 2 sounds phenomenal. And speaking of stacking sats, one of the reasons that I'm particularly excited is our opportunity to partner with you guys. And so I really haven't talked about Joltz Rewards that much on the channel. I focus mostly on kind of, universally helpful, hopefully, tutorials and different things like that. But for those that have been watching the channel for some time know that I'm the co-founder of a Bitcoin rewards company called Joltz. We recently rebranded from Truebit, so that was a fun process. But we basically make it so that any merchant can integrate Bitcoin rewards and make that seamless, ideally for e-commerce merchants. So businesses that are selling their goods online. So I have to somewhat selfishly ask you, what kind of caught your eye about what we were doing at Joltz? What do you think Bitcoin rewards can kind of bring to your customers and to your business? And is there anything you're kind of looking forward to in that regard?
Man, so much. So the biggest excitement I get out of this whole thing is being able to obviously orange pill people and reach the general public that we have a hard time reaching them, because again, I mean, monetary history, economics, tyranny, all these subjects, they're not fun, and they've never been fun. So how do you get the general public to want to start learning about these subjects? And that's the whole point of this project. So coming up with the catchphrase, ripping packs and stacking sats, there was this magical synergy where Joltz was literally meant for that catchphrase, in my opinion. So anyone that we partner with in any way, putting them in the pack, whatever we end up doing, we have to believe in that company. We have to believe in the people. So when I met with you guys for the first time, the synergy was ridiculous. And if I don't really believe in the project, but more importantly, the people in that project, then there's no way I can get behind it. Well, you guys have been phenomenal, from helping with the website in the beginning, reaching out, doing things that I would have never imagined getting the help that you guys have done before we had anything rolling. That right there is the sign of a true amazing person. Both of you, So I was like, whatever we can do, let's do it. And there's nowhere else I would want to go. And then learning more about what you guys were doing, I just got more fired up. So getting people off zero is the key.
Yep.
And with what we have planned together and what I fully believe you guys are going to just excel in our partnership and making this work is we're going to get more people off zero than anyone can imagine. We're going to the general public with this. Joltz and Bitcoin trading cards is going to be at baseball tournaments. We're going to have a booth set up at country music festivals. We're going to reach far outside the Bitcoin bubble, and we're going to the general public. And we are not going to custodial your coins. We are going to force you to get a wallet, take your coins off, hold those coins, and start to play with that experience. And being able to say Bitcoin in every pack is going to be phenomenal. I don't see many people not wanting to take on that opportunity. So I am just ecstatic to be able to work with you guys. And I think together we are going to orange pill a massive amount of people.
Like the feeling is very mutual, Aladdin, and yeah, from the get go, I think we knew this was going to be a terrific partnership. We're humbled by those kind words. So what can folks expect at least currently in terms of the reward, and then what are maybe some things to look forward to in the future?
Excellent. So right now we're starting off with a 1% so that we can go back through all of the orders and take care of everyone that's ever purchased through us and get them some stats back. And together we're working on creating a really fun rewards program. Obviously we want to do it right. I think we both have that perfectionist in us where we want people to just be incredibly happy from the start. So together we're working on being able to have a random reward setup, and let's incentivize people in a whole nother way. Yes, 1% to get everyone taken care of, streamline it, make it simple, get everyone started, let them feel the app out. But what's coming are rewards like you've never seen before. So again, Bitcoin trading cards and Joltz is going to bring a whole new level of rewards. I love Lolly. I love Fold. They're amazing. Fold is in the pack. What they're doing is beautiful. I've been using them since day one that they came out. But I think we have a different style that we're going to run with this, and the collectibles and the amazing things that we're going to be throwing at this. I'm reaching out to Saifedean. I'm reaching out to so many amazing authors out there and artists, and I plan to get some signed artwork. We'll have some very limited edition collectibles, excuse me, trading cards to all different size sats back. I never really want to go over a million sats. I think minting Satoshi Millionaires is awesome. I would rather mint a shit ton of Satoshi Millionaires than one whole coiner. Yeah. So that's my ultimate goal. I think you are on the same page with me on that one, especially getting out to these baseball tournaments that my son is in. We got 5,000 kids a day walking through there. I really want to start minting these young Satoshi millionaires, and they have no idea what's coming for them. They have that one, they're a millionaire at that point, and a millionaire that is unlike any other millionaire. That fiat millionaire is not the same thing. So really excited for the rewards to come. And I think, again, take your time with this, people. It's coming. Right now we'll get you started, but it will be worth the wait. Get your time preference right and get ready, because Joltz and Bitcoin trading cards is we're going to reinvent the wheel.
Love that. No, we could not be more excited. I think what we've got in store for folks. So Aladdin, this has been awesome. Where can folks follow you guys? And importantly, where can they go to get their hands on some of these juicy packs? And I will flash the website up, and I'll also put it in the description. But where can folks follow you? Where can folks engage with you, support you, etc.?
Excellent. So right now we're mainly focused on Bitcoin Twitter. I have a hard time going to other social media platforms. We're on Instagram, but we have help with that coming. I just personally have a really hard time dealing with those, where the community on Bitcoin Twitter is unlike any other. So right now, Bitcoin Twitter is the best. It's BTC underscore cards. And the website is very similar, BTC score cards. And that's the best place if you want to pay in your dirty fiat. If you do not want to pay in dirty fiat, I highly recommend going to geyser.fund and helping us out there by purchasing in Bitcoin. We appreciate that way more than the dirty fiat. That, and it supports Geyser, which is probably one of the most amazing companies and projects in Bitcoin right now. So we'd love just to see the support for them alone. Our main website is coming soon. It is going to be a beautiful, ridiculous site. It's taken us a long time to get there. I built the original site, and I am not a website builder. I'm an artist, so bear with the website if you're paying in dirty fiat. I think it does the point, but I've got two amazing Bitcoiners out of the UK that have been building the main website. And when we drop that one, again, the perfectionist in me have held back because we have so many things we want to have in that. That will be Bitcoin only. So once that's out, then easy, simple.
Yeah, I do love Geyser. I covered them in Tallycoin in a prior video, but excellent. Well, that's great. And I just want to add a comment there for folks who are looking for that Bitcoin back reward. Basically, how it works currently is you go on the BTC trading card site, make your purchase, and that purchase will then automatically whitelist you into being able to then redeem your Bitcoin reward from Joltz. And you'll receive an email afterwards with the link where you can go and do that. We're going to ultimately automate that process, but that is how it's going to work currently. And don't be alarmed if you don't receive the email right away. We're kind of doing it in batches over time, but that is the process to expect. Alladan, it has been a true pleasure. I just love the energy that you've brought to this project. I mean, it's truly incredible the number of people that you've already started to pull into the ecosystem, people who otherwise, wouldn't have found themselves here. So absolutely love what you guys are doing. We are humbled to be partnering with you and hopefully contribute to the mission of orange pilling more and more people and getting the good word of Bitcoin out into the world.
Love it. Yes, this collaboration is going to be epic. This is the start of something absolutely magical. So everybody get ready because we're going to rock it.
Love it. Alladan, thanks once again for your time. Pleasure as always, my friend, and we'll talk to you real soon.